So guys, our main topic for today, I just want to show you how to um, plot your zones, how to identify who is in control in a particular market. So what we are going to do today is top-down analysis, and what we have here is a GU, Great British Pound USD. I will take my chart to the 1 day time frame. This is what I do every day and try to see the direction of the market. And you see supply took control of this market, and the market has been dropping to the downside massively. So this is off the 1 day time frame. So what we are going to do is we are going to do top down analysis, and then we are going to identify who are in control of this market. On the 1 day time frame, we can clearly see now that supply is in control. That is the first thing you need to identify, who is in control. And guys, don't forget to get that book. To get the book you saw me posting, try and get that book. Try and get it. So now, here we can see supply is powerfully in control. Why? Because here we had a supply zone. Price tapped into that supply zone and gave us that change in character. Things we need to see on a particular level before confirm that the market is about to change direction. So we had a change in character up here. Demand was in control down here. Demand was in control here. This of the 1 day time frame. We had a supply zone here. It was in control for a little while. Price later on violated the supply zone. Price mitigated the supply, dropped a little bit, but we remember demand was still in control. Demand was still in control. So price break violated supply here and violated demand here and changed character. Push, tap into the supply zone, drop a little bit. Demand took over again, and you see this is the new demand zone price left behind. So this is how you need to plot your graph, your chart. The break that gave us a fair value gap, that had that inefficiency, push to the upside. Supply, demand is in control now. Demand keep pushing up, allowing another areas of imbalance, which price later failed to push to the upside. So another area here, demand push, leaving behind an imbalance zone that price demand supply later that got mitigated. So now what you are going to do is this. Whenever you're marking your zones, you need to highlight those that were mitigated, make sure you highlight them. It will guide you. Mitigated. This supply zone, this demand zone was mitigated. This one, this supply zone here, this demand zone, sorry, was unmitigated. I think we all know what mitigation and unmitigation means. Mitigation means when price broke out, it formed a demand zone, and you see price coming back to induce that area. Price coming back to tap in that area, induce. Once price tap into its demand zone, it is termed, or you can call it, you can refer to it as mitigated zone. So price has mitigated this zone. the market have mitigated this zone and pushed to the upside, creating another zone here. So this one was unmitigated. And note this, areas in the market where price left unmitigated always attracts the market to that area. Okay, so this is the 1 day unmitigated demand zone. So you can label this the 1 day unmitigated demand zone. Now, price got here, tap into the supply zone, change character and start dropping to the downside. So what we can see now here is a break of structure, telling us that price will still continue to drop to the downside. So what we have now here is a break in structure. We had that change in character here. That price went and tapped. I think this is around 2 hour time frame. But now price drop, allowing us another unmitigated supply zone here. Sorry, a supply zone here. That price it got mitigated, dropped to the downside. Now it has broken structure. This is now another supply zone sleeping here, which is now unmitigated. So we can label this one unmitigated supply. Unmitigated supply. Unmitigated supply to the downside. So you can label it unmitigated supply. So whenever you are taking a trade, so let's go down to the 4 hour time frame now. That's so everything we have gathered, the information we have gathered here is off the 1 day time frame. So now we are going to the 4 hour time frame to see what's up again, what's going on in the 4 hour time frame. So now we are on the 4 hour time frame. So you can label this as 1 day, 1 day. So we had a supply zone here. So we mark this zone, it is mitigated. This one here is mitigated. So you know after price has mitigated the zone, it will not come back to that zone again because everything there has been induced. Now we had liquidity that was building up here. Also, there was, so we are safe to take this out now to have a clearer view. Now you see on the 4 hour time frame we had a demand zone here. Price has been respecting that demand zone, and then now supply have violated the zone. The zone has now been violated. The zone has now been mitigated. So price have tapped into the zone, have been mitigated. So what we are looking for to see is if this candle will close out here. So now supply is now in control. So we had this as a one day's unmitigated supply zone. So we refine here to catch that imbalance. You know, imbalance is an area where we have a gap between where the market gave us an impulse. So this area here, we'll call it an imbalance. So we call here a fair value gap or imbalance or inefficiency. Fair value gap. Price needs to come and fill that zone before dropping to the downside. So if price should form another structure without tapping into a zone, it will still be called unmitigated. So unmitigated areas always attract price to to themselves. So now we have plotted our zone. So this is off the 4 hours. So I scale down to the 2 hour time frame. On the 2 hour time frame, who is in control of this market? Supply is in control. So I can cancel everything back up. Remove drawings. Now I want to see what's going on in the 2 hour time frame. I start from up here again. We had an imbalance zone here, a gap. That price mitigated. Tap into the zone, clear off the all imbalances and clear extra liquidity and start dropping to the downside. had a break of structure here. Price left what behind? A supply zone. Price left a supply zone that got mitigated. Came, broke structure here again. The extreme zone was still in play. Price tapped back into the supply zone. Supply is still in control. Price left what behind? An imbalance. A supply zone that got mitigated. Okay. Now I scale down to the 1 hour. So I see this is a demand zone that price has been respecting. So that bounces the upside. I scale down to the 1 hour time frame. What am I looking for? Unmitigated zones in the market. Here, there is no unmitigated zone that left to the supply during the 1 hour time frame. So I scale to 30 minutes. This is me now. I've seen a gap, an imbalance here, and this is the trade we took this morning that gave us a lot of pips. So I saw this unmitigated supply. Then what was sleeping here? Liquidity was sleeping here. So I had imbalance here. Imbalance was sleeping here for me. Area of imbalance, area of inefficiency, area of a fair value gap that needs to be filled. Liquidity building up here again. Building up. So risk management, we took the trade from here. Has a stop loss just above the unmitigated supply. Targeting where? Now this is the problem. Where should we target? When taking a trade like this, where should you target? You should target areas of unmitigated demand, because you are now selling. Areas of unmitigated demand. Areas of unmitigated demand should be your target. You need to identify the type of liquidity they're building up. Okay, so you had liquidity sleeping here. We had some liquidity sleeping here that got taken out. Another one that was sleeping here that got taken out too. So this is how you should plot your zones whenever you're looking at the chart. First of all, identify who is in control on a higher time frame. Okay, identify who is in control on a higher time frame. Identify who is in control on a higher time frame. Identify who is in control on a higher time frame. I think everybody see my screen. Okay. Identify who is in control on a higher time frame. Supply is in control. Now, our areas of TP will be at areas of unmitigated demand. We had one here, unmitigated demand that was sleeping here, and another one that was sleeping here. So, supply keep violating and all demand zone and busting and going and taking to the downside, leaving us behind what? Unmitigated, another zones that price might still pull back to. So pro tips, whenever you are trying to mark your zone and do your technical analysis, first of all, check if there's any high impact fundamental news coming up. So you need to be careful. Now, areas of which you can target your profit should be on areas of unmitigated zone, because price, those zones will always act as a magnet in the market. We have a fair value gap here too. We have an imbalance here, an imbalance sleeping here, that there's a demand zone sleeping below. So these areas will always attract, so they act like a magnet. So you see, this one acted here like a magnet, attracted price to itself, clear out liquidity before dropping. Drop now to this side, another one drop to this side. So what are we looking for here? Another a so we need to go to a higher time frame, back to the 4 hours, to see if we had another unmitigated uh, demand zone that is attracting price to come to it. So that's just it for top. We are going now back to the 1 day time frame to see where our next target, where we could look for a change in this market direction, because now supply is powerfully in control. And you see, this is price today. GU dropped and it's still dropping 255 pips, and it's still dropping. So we expect to see GU dropping right down to this level. And remember, we trade this our strategy. We trade. We focus on trading this when there's a high volume in the market. So we trade this mostly during the London session. So now, this is the area that is attracting price. This zone, this unmitigated 1 day demand zone, is now acting like a magnet, attracting price. And you can see a lot of others are sleeping here. A lot of others are sleeping below this line. A lot of others are sleeping below this trend line. So a lot of others are sleeping below this trend line. So on the 1 day, what am I seeing here? Is there any supply zone here? Yes, there's a supply zone sleeping here. This is of the 1 day. So I will highlight, I want to see a change in character on a smaller time frame. So I want to see what's happening here. So I can go back to the 4 hours to redefine, right? To refine this area. Because I'm a day trader. We are all intraday traders, and we want to have a good risk to reward on every trade we're about to take. So now back to the 4 hours. Now this is our 4 hour supply zone, because we have an imbalance sleeping here. This is an imbalance. Okay, I go to the 2 hour time frame. Okay, no much difference. I adjust my screen. So this is how I expect all of you guys to mark up your zones. Whenever I ask you to mark your zone, this is what I want you to do. Mark your zone and give me the conclusion on the time frame of which you are expecting your entries. What am I seeing here? This is of the 2 hour time frame. I'm refining. So now this is where I have my imbalance up here. Okay. So I expect to have, so supply is in control. Once supply is in control, my only focus is for me to look for selling opportunities. So I have two unmitigated supply zones here now. I have this one, this gap all the way here. So this was now my demand that got violated. This is my demand that got violated. So I'll just have a break here to show to tell me that this was now a break in structure to the downside. So this is how I will label this off the 1 hour time frame. Break in structure. I'm trying to make this very simple and very clean for you to understand. Very simple. No need to pack up things on your chart. This is the best and the simplified way of trading. We had that first change in character here that left behind an imbalance zone. So first, your interest should be looking for a selling opportunity here. So what you should look out for here is a change in character. Change in character will give you your confirmation. Sorry, the break in structure that led to a change in character. break the structure that led to the change in character here, wait for change in character here. That is that. This is how you should mark up. Let me take another example again. Let's do something on Euro USD. Okay, this is Euro USD. I marked up my areas already. So I'll go to the 1 day time frame and do this. So all of you on this call, after this call, I want each and every one pick a currency, do your markup, and tell me your view, your expectation on a smaller time frame like the 1 hour or 30 minute or 50 minute. I need all of you to do that because I'm showing you examples on how to do that here. When you're done with that, doing that, you send me your analysis. Everyone on this call, before you go to bed tonight, I need the analysis. Everyone. So this is off the 1 day time frame. This is Euro USD. What am I seeing here? Who was in control? Demand was in control. Price got here, change character. Right? Price got the change character. I see no demand zone here on the 1 day time frame. But if I can scale down to the 4 hour time frame, I think it will be visible for me to see. So when you're unable to see your zone on a higher time frame, scale down to a smaller time frame and look for your zones on that zone, on that time frame. You have to refine your zones. Everything is well explained in the book. We have a demand zone here that was unmitigated. Price breakout structure here. Change character here. Left behind. This is the zone here that was sleeping here that was later on mitigated. So you can capture all of that zone. We move ahead. So this is me now back testing the supply zone that was here. So you see, demand is in control. When demand is in control, supply will always fail. So you see the supply zone that was here, it failed. Price violated it. So price got here, left behind another demand zone. You see, it will always attract unmitigated. So price came back down, tap into the zone before shooting to the upside. This is how you properly mark up your zones. Break, left behind a demand zone with an imbalance, the fair value gap, unmitigated. You highlight it, you take it forward. 4 hour unmitigated supply zone, take it forward so that you know. Another demand zone here, unmitigated. Demand is in control. A demand zone here, mitigated. No demand zone here. A demand zone here, this one. Mitigated. Of which it later failed. Now, there is another demand zone here. So, in an instance, when you have demand zone as tight as this, focus on the other one down because liquidity is sleeping here. Lots of stop losses are always here. I know the market is always attracted to liquidity. So a lot of people who came here, they bought here, they had their stop loss sleeping here. You see, price came and swept that, took them out, mitigated this zone before pushing back to the upside. So when you have a scenario like this, look for the one below that liquidity is sleeping below because we have liquidity was sleeping here, right? That's why you saw the market reacting off this level, but another liquidity was attracting. So unmitigated zones always, they act like magnets in the market. They attracts the market price to themselves. So we had this one here. So that is it. Now, what are you seeing here? A demand zone that left imbalance, and it is from this structure broke because supply is still in, demand is still in control. The zone that was left unmitigated. We keep going to the upside. Now, the supply later what? Change character. This one is unmitigated. You have imbalance slipping here, imbalance slipping here. So it's unmitigated. Supply is now in control. Breaking structures, breaking lows, leaving behind zones. This zone here was later mitigated and have a liquidity sweep above. We had another one here, a break in structure to the downside. Any unmitigated zone here? Yes. There was a zone here that was later mitigated. That zone got mitigated. So we have another break in structure here. Another break in structure. So we are not seeing anything here. So we can scale to the 2-hour time frame now to see 2-hour time frame. No zone here. Every zone that was here was got later on got mitigated. Now price demand was in control. We had a change in character here. This is the breaking structure. The change in character was down. This is the change in character. Down here. Any demand zone? Yes, there's a demand zone. Was it mitigated? Yes, the zone was mitigated. Push to the upside. What happened? Break price. Break of structure again. Demand is now in control. We scale to the 1-hour time frame. Now, what happened here? We have a break in structure. We have a change in character here, leaving us with what behind? A supply zone that got violated. But there was another supply zone, extreme order block, extreme supply zone that was up here. Price swept all the liquidity that was sleeping above there. What happened here? We can scale that to 30 minutes to see clearly what happened there. Price got here, change character here, leaving us behind what? Unmitigated, a supply zone. So you can scale to 50 minutes to see if that was clear on the 50 minute, not very visible on the 30 minute. Yes, it's clear on the 15 minute. Supply zone sleeping here. So you can map all of that area closing to the upside. So whenever you have this kind of zone, whenever you are putting your stop loss, always give enough room for the market to break, because sometimes spread can take you out. So give enough room for the market to break. Have a stop loss above zone a little bit. And where are you targeting your areas of TP? This is where you're targeting your areas of TP. Unmitigated demand. They will always attract price. Why is that trade? Why are we looking for that trade? We saw liquidity building, liquidity that was sleeping above, break structure again to the downside. So areas where you could have added positions in this trade. Unmitigated supply, another one here that gave you the opportunity to re-enter. Unmitigated supply, price came back, tap into it, and this was all because price have not yet clear the liquidity down here, or I'm not tapping into the unmitigated. So price was going back to tap into the supply before dropping to the downside. Supply is powerful. So the basic of the only thing you need to understand in forex is demand and supply. Who is in control? Who is in control? That is all you need to know. And once you see that, you want to be friends with whoever is in control. If demand is in control, look only for buying opportunities. If supply is in control, look only for selling opportunities. This is unmitigated supply, that when price violated demand, so expect price to push to tap to this zone. So now we see price forming some sort of lows here. So guys, this is how you, when you understand all the concepts of demand and supply, this is all what you need to do. So I am going to end the recording session here, and then I'll take your questions, and then we'll talk further. So I will drop this on my YouTube channel, and you can visit my YouTube channel to understand, to replay, to understand everything that really happened. And always make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to like, drop your comments, drop any comment, anything you want me to talk on the next video on the comment section. I'll read all your comments and try to see what you are interested for me to look at for the next video. So I'll stop the recording now. So thanks.